But you want something special.
Hey, you know me. Everything I do is a little bit different or special, I
Okay.
guess. So, yeah, every time I go into the shop, I try to buy something a little bit different. And and so I saw the garlic and thought, yeah, garlic's healthy. And and people, there's all these people only do the healthy things when they're sick, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they do the sick things when they're healthy. And so I'm trying to, because I'm crazy, I'm trying to do the healthy things when I'm healthy,
Perfect.
and hopefully I will stay healthy as a result. Hopefully. Um, so, so I should be like superhuman. I've had a whole piece of ginger that I cut up and ate today.
Mm-hmm.
I've
Mm-hmm.
had I've had a whole clove of garlic that I've eaten. Um, um,
And do you think it's enough for your body to eat this?
I well, I feel okay. I've got lots of energy.
That,
Um, and the
that,
more, sorry, the more that I look at food and study food and learn about food, the more I think that we don't really need it that much.
mm,
And here's the test. The test is really difficult. The test is to write down everything that you eat and you drink for a week. That's the ultimate difficult task.
mm,
And then at the end of the week, you look at just try it for a day. It's even difficult for one day just to write down the things that you eat and you drink. And if you want to be more, if you want to make it more complicated, try to decide if you know where that food comes from,
mm.
or what is in that food, if it's mixed food, or if you're in a restaurant, where the restaurant got the food. And yeah, the end result is that we don't really think about all of these things a lot, and they're really important. And so I don't eat a lot, but I'm very conscious about what I eat, and I still feel that I eat too much. I
Mm,
could take 50% of what I eat, I could just take it out of my diet completely. And
mm-hmm.
I don't think that it would have any serious negative effect.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And do you eat warm food?
um, I eat soup. I guess
Mm-hmm.
soup is warm food, and I think that the summer winter difference is important. Summer cold foods, winter hot foods, because the body it's usually more comfortable for the body to.
Yeah, but the people from South countries eat warm food during the day when it's hot.
Well, there is that fact also, which is that
Mm. How is it?
that warm food, warm drinks cool the body.
Mm.
Um, it just depends who you are and where you are, I
Mm.
suppose. And hopefully, kind of mentally, we're in a different place as a society from where we were 20, 30 years ago, where when I wanted to drink, my parents bought me Coca-Cola.
Mm. I understand.
And that's just cocaine for the brain, right?
Mm. Mm.
Um, so
And
uh,
do you talk with them about this sometimes?
no, but I should. Like one of the many things that I should do that I don't do. And I don't do it because I think I know the answers. I think I know what they will say. I think um, I can hear their voices in my head,
Mm-hmm.
giving some kind of classical answer. And
Because I think that your parents are educated people, and I would be interested about their reason.
um, that's a great word that you used, educated, because because many people are educated and are not really that intelligent. There is a
Mm.
difference between those two things. Anybody can study something, anybody can repeat something,
Mm-hmm.
but to completely um, understand all the aspects of things, to be wise about a topic is to be wise is essentially to know that you don't know a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
and so that you can't really make a lot of objective decisions. So, there are many doctors have one of the most strict and difficult forms of education that anybody has to go through. And
So many physicians have unhealthy life. They smoked a lot. They eat unhealthy food, drink Coca-Cola too much, drink coffee too much.
well, the
I
intelli
don't understand.
intelligent people collect information from positive examples.
Mm.
And to wait for somebody else to solve your problems is always a mistake. So um, I think that just because somebody has a title or a label or a few letters before their name or after their name,
Mm.
I don't think it really matters very much. And the classic example of this is parents, mom and dad, right? There's no qualification for being mom and dad.
Mm.
There's no qualification there. There's no you know, there's yeah, you can read some books and you can take some courses in nursing or communications or something, but there's no real qualification for being mom and dad, and those are the two most important
Mm.
jobs in the world. And so um, when we know that is difficult, then every other job is easier than being mom or dad, basically,
Mm.
than being a good mom or dad. And so uh, I think that it's something to keep in the back of our minds and
Mhm.
consider as something which is important. And we know because we're adults that just because a person studies 5 years and they have a qualification as a lawyer or uh, some kind of chemical engineer or a doctor, it doesn't really mean that they're very good at their job.
Mhm.
Because being good at your job means working very hard, having a lot of experience, having empathy, loving what you do,
Mm.
and none of those things are really connected with getting a qualification. Um,
Mm.
so, um, educated. Yeah, yeah, my parents are educated, but I'm not quite sure what that means because you can be brilliant at brilliant at one thing and terrible at the next thing. You can be a brilliant writer, but a terrible parent.
That's true.
You can be a fantastic driver, but a terrible teacher.
Yeah, but I suppose that you are so intelligent and wise man that your parents are too. uh,
Ah,
I I suppose there is some connection with these things because
there,
they educated you.
they, yes, okay, they educated me, and I remember at the age of 18, at the age of 9, I remember at the age of 19 leaving university, walking out of university, and thinking, this is the first day of my life because I know nothing about anything.
Mm.
So I was thinking that last week because life is a long journey and we're always learning things. And I was collecting some data about finances and financial information, and I was thinking about being old and being retired and getting a pension and preparing for that period of life, and then saving money to put children through college or university, and
Mhm.
all of these other little things. And I was thinking, my God, I never learned anything about any of that from my parents.
Mm.
And so um, there's a podcast that I listen to at the moment. I try to listen to it when I'm driving, and it's all about money and investment and the best ways to organize your finances and the best ways to not get into debt. And if you do get into debt, the best ways to pay it off, and how to make your plans and how much money you should, when you make money, how much you should spend on yourself and how much you should put to one side, and how much you should begin to save, and all of these things that I've been studying over the last year that nobody ever told me. They're really, really simple stuff. Like uh, the money that and I imagine you probably know this already, but let's just go through it anyway because it's interesting.
Mhm.
Um, the money you make from the money you get from your job, you split it down the middle,
Mhm.
right? 50% of it you save, and 50% of it you can spend.
Mhm.
So immediately, the money you really get from your job is half of what you're paid. Immediately. And you should only ever spend half. You should spend no more than half of what you get paid.
Is the right system? Or
But there's flexibility. Okay,
okay.
there's you can go 50-50, you can go 60-40, you can play with the numbers, you can change it for 1 month because
Mhm.
maybe you want to buy something extra or go on holiday or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, so uh, so there's no perfect system for everybody because everybody's different. But the basic principle is is that principle, and it varies depending upon what systems people use between 25 to 50%. But the minimum amount of money that you should that you should save is 25% when you get your money from your job. 25% of that should go straight into an account that cannot ever be touched, ever,
Mhm.
ever. Minimum 25%.
Mhm.
And the best situation is if you take 50% of the money that you're paid and you spend you use 50% for your living, your life, whatever you need, and the rest you save straight away. And
Mhm.
and uh, and then you build your life based on the 50% of what you're paid.
Mhm.
And if you do that, you will always be okay because you will always have enough money for everything that that, that, that your lifestyle affords you to do. You'll never go into debt if you do that. You'll never owe anybody any money if you do that. And what happens?
How can it works when I can't use the rest of the half?
Because the other half goes into savings for whatever you need to save for, which includes pensions in the private pensions in the future. So you're not waiting for money that you're going to get from the government or whatever. You're looking to save that money yourself, or it goes into investments, or you're putting it aside for your children's future in 20 years, uh, or it just becomes your emergency money
Mm.
if there's a major problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the problems, classic problem, somebody gets sick or ill or has an
Mm.
accident or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so you've always got 50% of everything ready for a problem. And um, the there should always be depending upon your life, your lifestyle, your situation, you should always have a bank account with between 3 to 5,000 euro in it that you never touch.
Mm-hmm.
And it just sits in the bank as an emergency so that if there's some big problem, you can still pay the rent
Mm-hmm.
for 3 months or 6 months. You
Mm-hmm.
can all of these little things that are so simple and so practical. It's just like whatever money you make, you're only making half of it. However much money you get, it's just 50%. You put a line down
Mm-hmm.
the middle and you take this, it goes straight into the bank, you never touch it, and you live. And what you then have is what's called a scalable income.
Mm.
And a scalable income means that you can still grow your lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And as your lifestyle grows, and we can live cheaply if we want. As our lifestyle grows, so our savings grow as well. And everything stays in the same scalable balance.
Mm.
And this is much easier in more wealthier countries, Spain,
Mm.
France, Germany, Britain, America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, than it
Mm.
is in a lot of other countries. But the basic principle is there that however much money you make, you're only making 50% of it, and you live on that 50%. And
Mm.
anybody who does that basically has no money problems for the rest of their life. And you start it when you start it when you're 20. Whatever job you have, doesn't matter, part-time job, whatever. You're always putting 50%
Mm.
to one side.
Mm.
And so I was listening to this system and listening to people talk about this, and it's like, my God, I'm 40, right? And I never looked at it like this. And
Me too.
it's so simple, but
Mm.
it's absolutely the right way to approach the situation. And um, it's not easy, but it's just the right way. When you hear the right thing, you know that it's right. And this is the way to approach money and use money in a positive sense. This way you're using money to protect you and support you rather than spending it on things that people don't need. And there's a word for this, frugal. Frugal is the word. And when you are frugal, you are careful with your money. You don't buy the extra thing that you don't need. Like,
Mm.
it's like talking to myself, right? Because I'm just thinking about all the stuff that I buy that I don't actually really need. And if I think about myself here in my office, yeah, I could take 50% of this and live without it.
Mm.
My life might not be so comfortable, but I could still live without it. So, and I estimate in my life, looking at my life and how much I spend and being conscious about it, I could probably spend, I think anybody can do this. They can spend half of what they're spending now and their life does not change in any way.
Yeah, but we want to have a comfortable life, and we earn money for this, for comfortable life.
But the role of money, yeah, I understand that perspective, but there's another perspective, and that
Mm.
is the role of money is not to make things comfortable, but to provide security.
Mm-hmm.
And security and comfort are two different things.
Mm. That's true.
It's nice to have comfort, but it's nicer to have security.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Security, like
uh,
ochrana.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because basically, comfort has a positive and a negative side to it,
Mm-hmm.
but security only has a positive side to it.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, so it's always a better, I think it's always a better investment to invest in security rather than to invest in comfort.
Mm.
Because comfort is leading to luxury where security is leading to safety, for
Mm-hmm.
example.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm.
so just thinking about that a second. That makes sense? That makes sense, right? That makes sense. So I have to think about it.
It makes sense, but what can I want to live for fun and for to have a comfort and nice life with everything what I want.
Because what you want is not as important as what you need. Because
Uh,
want, sorry, sorry to point that out, because wants are emotional impulses and needs are much more fundamental
mm,
elements of the need is far more serious than the want.
mhm,
It's I can say children always want things, but they don't really need them. Like my kids always want ice cream, right? But they don't really need ice cream. Sometimes I want ice cream, and I know 100% that even though I want ice cream, I don't need it. I definitely don't need it. So,
but
uh,
when they have ice cream, their day is more is nicer, is better, and this is the point to have a nice life every day with ice cream, with perfumes, with everything what we want.
yes, well, it's nice to be happy, but ice creams and perfume are luxuries, and they're absolutely not necessary to be happy. I mean, you can not have perfume and be extremely happy. You can not have ice cream and be
Mm.
extremely happy. And you can have ice cream and perfume and be very unhappy. So there's no, perfect correlation between having what you want and
Mm.
being happy as a result. And what want leads to, whatever you have more of, leads to wanting more of that thing. So if you
Mm-hmm.
have if you have a want, changing want from a verb into a noun, if you have a want for something, then in the future you will have a want for more of
That's true.
that thing. And there's a psychological state in most people which means we're never satisfied.
Mm-hmm. I know.
We, um, well, it doesn't have to be negative things. It can be Lego, right? Here's just an example that comes into my head. It doesn't matter how much Lego you have.
Mm-hmm.
It's never enough, and you always want to buy some new piece or some little car or some boat or something,
Mm-hmm.
so that you can build more. So it doesn't have to be a negative thing, but it's definitely a human desire to always have or to want more of things that we connect with happiness. And then, we instantly discover that our happiness is not really connected to that thing which is new.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that it, we can get I don't know, a new book or a new computer game or a new bicycle or whatever, but that will probably never be enough for most people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then getting to the higher level of thinking is understanding that there are many things that we could have, but there are none of these things that we need. And that's the way that the world is designed.
Mm-hmm.
You live in Prague, and I'm sure Prague is full of restaurants and bars.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, probably more restaurants and more bars than most people need. And
That's.
that's just the way that society is set up. There's nothing really wrong with that. That's commercial culture. People are free to start any kind of business that they want to start. Um, and so there's this great quest for happiness externally, but it doesn't really come in that way externally. It's more of an inner peace that brings happiness uh,
Mm-hmm.
than than an external activity or getting possessions. And that's why when you have the money as security, it's it's a peace. It's peace for you because you know
Mm-hmm.
it's there if you need it, and maybe it won't be you that needs it. Maybe it'll be somebody in your family. Maybe it'll be a friend who needs it. Maybe it'll be a colleague who needs it. Maybe some situation in life will occur which will lead you to give the money to some charity or something. Who,
Mm-hmm.
who, who knows? Maybe you'll save so much money that you have too much and you don't know what to do with it, so that you will give some of it away. And then that would be setting a positive example in that sense. So it's very important to focus on using money as security rather than using everything you have in terms of money to
Mm-hmm.
to try to build, because inevitably in life we don't always, life's not a straight road. We don't always step up from step to step. Sometimes we go back down a little bit, and money is the comfort in difficult times.
Mm-hmm.
When you lose your job and you know that in the bank you've got 3 months money for rent and food,
Mm-hmm.
then you're not worried. You're not going to have a really hard time at the beginning. You're not going to turn to alcohol or drugs or whatever because you've got that security and that time to think
Mm-hmm.